Well, we should pass the banana tonight.
Stop interrupting each other. We should pass whoever has the banana. If you're holding the banana, you get to use your lips.
I'm holding.
Okay.
No, we are ready. We are locked and loaded. You bozos ready?
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Welcome to May the Zoo be with you, America's most welcome to the Tortured Poets Apartment Society podcast. Hope you guys are all enjoying the streams. Thank you, Tay-Tay. I am, of course, joined by... It's release day.
Nobody knows.
Everybody will know that it's Taylor Swift release day.
Taylor Swift's Time in
Nobody
the
has
Sun
any idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
went like the eclipse.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Nothing could be further from the truth.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
Unlike Cynthia Williams, she's still employed. Okay? All right?
Cynthia Williams is still employed as of the recording of this
podcast.
podcast.
A week and a half. Yeah. I am, of course, joined by the man with the plague, the Black Death. They call him the Death Machine.
Yeah, that was going to get weird. You saved that at the very end. I know what you were going to say. That was going to get weird.
Oh, boy. This is going to be a wild podcast.
I am, of course, joined by the man who looks for Josh's grandfather in the shower, Louie DeGeorge.
Still haven't found him.
I want you to know the fact that you're Googling for Josh's grandfather in the shower is easily my favorite tidbit of this podcast.
That's when I watch YouTube.
Wait, what?
That's when I watch YouTube, is when I'm in the shower.
So that was the thing.
That's
why your comments are always so weird on my videos.
Like, baby, I'm soaking wet. I'm soaking wet and thinking of you, Josh.
This video makes me soaking.
Never mind.
What?
And we're joined by George in his amazing t-shirt or shirt. But more importantly, we have another guest, not just George. We have another guest joining the podcast today. The Banana Man from the Banana Stand is joining the podcast today in topic number 2. This is not a joke. This is not a joke.
No,
this is
this is real life.
Actually happening.
If you guys want to be on the podcast, you have to make a meme that enters the podcast. That's how you get on the podcast.
Or you have to sell thousands of boxes on TCG Player.
You have to crater the market for a box. Then we'll let you on as punishment.
All right, let's run down the list because Banana Man's going to be here soon. So we're going to do bye-bye, Cynthia. Bye-bye. We're going to do the Banana Man. Well, we're going to talk to the Banana Man.
The title of this podcast is clearly Louie Does the Banana Man in the Shower, right?
Did you look for the Banana Man in the shower too, Louie, or just Josh's grandfather?
He finds the Banana Man in the shower.
You watch the Banana Man in the shower?
Anybody who wasn't listening to the podcast,
if you don't watch the Banana Man in the shower,
anybody who didn't listen to the podcast 2 weeks ago has no clue what we're talking about.
You know what? Start from episode 1. When you get here, you'll realize what happened.
We're going to talk about sorcery pre-orders. We're going to do Star Wars Christmas Edition, everybody. It's ridiculous. Ravensburg, the CEO of Ravensburg, had a great article out this week. We'll talk about
I knew all about it. I'm looking forward to you taking the lead in that one, Louie.
And then
still
George,
the CEO.
At the end of the podcast, George has a farewell to bid that we'll get into. So, all right. Bye. Should this be a celebration? Should we have balloons here?
I do not think it should be a celebration if you're a Magic the Gathering fan.
All right, let's paint the picture for everybody.
Should we explain what's going on? Yeah, there you go.
Was fired. She was let go.
Wait,
she is no more.
None
of that is true.
Like George,
some of those things were false. Though.
Like George, 50% of the time on the podcast, she is no more.
No, okay,
a lot of that's false.
Yeah, that part's true. Last part nailed it.
Hasbro released their quarterly report, and in there was a note that said this is Cynthia Williams last month.
Okay.
As of April 26th, she is leaving.
Can we start with this? Because I didn't see that it was the quarterly report. How was the quarterly report?
This was just like a update thing. It wasn't a big deal.
Okay. They didn't share numbers or anything.
So
if they did, nobody's talking about it. There's
a lot of information about this, right? So let's go into what we know that she did. Then let's get into what we think about what's going on here.
I'm much more excited for the speculation, but yeah, let's go ahead.
Mark Rosewater's aunt's coming up during that section, just so we know.
So Cynthia Williams came from Microsoft. That is important.
She came from Microsoft, and importantly, the person who had her job before her was who, Louie?
Was Chris Cox.
Before
all the cocktails parties.
Right. Yeah. And so there was kind of a thought that Maybe that was the succession.
Oh, that she was going to go to Hasbro?
But just like the real show Succession, you never saw the twist at the end coming.
But like, didn't he that was just 2 years ago. So this wasn't thinking soon, right?
I don't think they thought that she was the 2-year person.
Right.
I think like they brought her in to do big things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And big things did not happen.
Yeah.
They made a big announcement about it too. It was the splash Microsoft hire.
Absolutely.
So they anticipated her being part of the long-term plan.
So let's talk about what she did, and then we can talk about then we get into wild speculations and guesses, which is what this podcast is most known for, most loved for, and least accurate about.
She did a bunch of boring things for D&D and almost lost the entire D&D community.
She radically changed Dungeons and Dragons.
She almost killed Dungeons and Dragons.
She made one very terrible decision and 2 very good ones.
Yeah, like I don't agree with Louis' nonsense. She made Dungeons and Dragons much more relevant online.
That's fair. I know. That's fair.
She came from it from the perspective of she also didn't know what it was when she took over the company. So
you know why? But I'll bet she knows who Taylor Swift is.
Pain.
I will bet you I'll bet you by the time this podcast airs, she has already listened to the Tortured Poets department.
I bet you she doesn't have to Wikipedia Taylor Swift. I think that's fair. She probably doesn't have to Wikipedia Taylor Swift.
Nobody does. They just Google GOAT. Boom. Tay-Tay's up there. Right next to Michael Jordan.
Okay, so what were the good things she did for Wizards of the Coast?
So she really did, I think, improve Dungeons and Dragons.
How so? She got D&D Beyond, which they bought, right?
That's
acquired.
So I mean, there were some acquisitions, but also they made it far more. She basically converted it to a lot more online play, is my understanding. She made it a lot more accessible online.
She opened up the door. She opened up the door to a lot of online accessibility, and then, ironically, the big negative decision also kind of almost slammed that door closed as well. But George, you're the marketing guy. Don't you think she did wonders for D&D marketing? Like,
yes,
D&D, as far as reach is concerned, more people know what D&D is today than 2 years ago, and it's not close.
But I think you'd have a hard time arguing that she didn't do net positive for D&D.
Mostly because of mostly because of the movie and the Baldur's Gate video game, correct? Is that what you guys are inferring?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think there's a big difference between brand recognition and actual people engaging with and playing the game. And it seems to me that the thing that they did with the rule, what was it? The what?
It was the OPL.
OPL, yeah. What does that stand for? Open.
I think it's open play license or something like that, or open product license.
It seems to me that had a much more negative effect than the brand recognition had for the positive effect of gameplay and people engaging with D&D.
Here's what I think she got, though. Here's where I agree with most of what you said, with one big caveat. She knows what I know is that a bunch of sweaty nerds wearing sweatpants playing D&D doesn't actually move the needle when it comes to revenue. I wear sweatpants too, and I'm fat and sweaty.
I don't even have sweatpants on. I have
sweaty.
These are
I have gym shorts on that basically are missing the entire crotchal region right now. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you all.
Female viewership just spiked.
So I'm judging nobody. No, this is a judgment-free zone unless you don't like Tay-Tay.
Or you spend too much money on a sorcery card.
Then there's a lot of judgment zone.
Yeah.
Sure.
Unless somebody whines to Louis, who then whines to me, then it's different. So like she understood that like if you want to grow D&D, you're not going to do it through the LGS.
Sure.
You got to get to mainstream.
And Louis, I want to push back on your brand recognition hurts the existing player base, because this is something we talk about in Magic a lot. I think brand recognition helps the future of the game. I don't think the brand recognition that she did damaged the existing player base at all. The OPL stuff definitely did. Terrible decision, 100%. But without brand recognition, I don't think you're getting any future players into things like D&D. People have to know what it is, and I think that goes very far. And I think she deserves credit for that. As much as we lay the failures at her feet, let's do the same with the successes.
I think though, like in my opinion, maybe this was her too, but in my opinion, like Stranger Things did more for D&D than Baldur's Gate. Like seeing, like I hear more people talking.
I think that's fair.
like I think like some of that is organic too, and like some of that is also connected to the history of the game and playing, not the IP, right? Like the thing that people liked about Stranger Things D&D was that they felt the nostalgia for playing D&D, and like that's what pulled on the heartstrings. And so I feel like they miss it on a little bit. I want to pivot though, because this is not a D&D podcast, and the three of us know
it's also a podcast, but I'm trying my hardest.
That's the problem, is we've got Banana Man coming, and there's so much to dig into on the Magic angle of this.
Yeah, but we don't also know very much about D&D. But here's one of the things I want to say. I don't know the direction that Cynthia Williams was trying to take Magic the Gathering at all. She seems like kind of a nothing burger when it comes to Magic the Gathering. Like there was no great vision and forward-thinking direction that was shining for Magic the Gathering. And it almost seems like their emphasis with Cynthia Williams was like focus on D&D.
Who do you think has done less? Mark Rosewater's aunt or Cynthia Williams?
Maybe they're the same person. Maybe that's the only reason she got the job.
Hot take. We got a scoopy, boys. We got a scoopy.
It's nepotism.
Let me say I wildly disagree.
Okay, so then if you disagree with that, then what was her vision for Magic the Gathering over the last 2 years? Give it to me in a 1 to 2 sentence take. Because
it's the thing that you're totally fine with, Louis. What's the thing that you're totally fine with that has been the leading driver of
Universes Beyond?
Gatherings? There you go.
Yeah. You have to give her credit. Universes Beyond has been massive for Magic the Gathering. You and I just had a 10-20 minute conversation this week about Fallout's reach and the series. And not only that, look at Magic, her 10 years, 2 years now. Look at Magic in the last 2 years versus the 3 to 5 year window before that. It wasn't great, right?
That's her.
So where I do agree with you, Louis, though, like let me be very clear. I think like she's made an incredible mark on Magic. Where I do agree with you though is I think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who would say that her greatest achievements aren't on the D&D side. She did far more for D&D, both positive and negative.
Yes,
than she did for Magic.
It almost feels to me like the Hasbro leadership was essentially like, we want you to grow, we want you to do things for D&D, and Magic was almost on the back burner. Like I don't even know if I would say that. Let me
speculate on that for a second, because I don't agree with that. Ready for the wild speculation? Here's my guess.
I've been trying to get us to go there for like 10 minutes. You guys want to?
We've been talking about facts for too long.
They said let's try it on D&D before we figure out if that'll work for Magic the Gathering. Because like at the end of the day, Magic's the golden goose. You can test it out on D&D. Those sweatpant wearing nerds, they can't handle our TCG world. They ain't got that dog in them like we do in the TCG world.
Not used to getting beat down over years.
So I think financially that's got to be true.
That's got to be 100% true.
I don't have the details in front of me, but as a store owner, I can tell you the amount of revenue that comes in from a D&D side compared to
really
side.
The one book a month doesn't equal the 30,000 boxes that Banana Man sells every minute.
There's a lot of banana envy going on in this podcast right now.
His sales are so big and girthy. It's not fair.
There's a ton of banana envy going on. This was not on my bingo card today.
I don't know, man. I think you should have seen this coming.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Josh. This one's on you. It's just like this was pretty obvious.
I've
been wrapped up in Cynthia Williams news. Give me a break.
I feel like I don't know. I guess 2 years as a president doesn't seem like long enough to make that many differences. Like
I agree.
I would argue that probably she didn't have a ton of handle on things like Lord of the Rings. Certainly were in effect before her, right? Like certainly those contracts.
Close them, I'm guessing she probably had to go through the details. I mean, like listen,
it takes more than 2 years to develop a set, dude. Like that came out a year ago.
Take 2 years to theme a set.
That came out a year ago. They're
constantly building mechanical sets that don't have a theme, unnamed cards, mechanical interactions, and things like that. I think a lot of that's probably done ahead of time.
I mean, like, and also
I don't know, guys.
Go through the details.
I don't think she hops in summer of 2022.
Oh, I don't think it's completely unworked on the moment she hops in.
Right.
Yeah, and has much to do with Lord of the Rings coming out in 2023. I don't see that being the case.
So we have 12 minutes. Let's get into two big questions here. There's
you can just keep going. Banana Man. He can weigh in on Cynthia Williams.
There's two.
I'm sure he's super comfortable doing that being a store.
There's two big. There's two
selling boxes on TCG Player.
Okay, Banana Man can't be touched by Cynthia anymore. But Cynthia Williams, hands off the bananas. So we're gonna get banned from banana stands.
No,
we're gonna get banned for 2 seconds.
I've been emailing him. He's been a listener of the podcast for a year and a half.
The next episode of this podcast is banned from MTG. Just so you know, that's the next episode of this podcast.
We're a Pokemon podcast. We talk about dead card games.
I really need sorcery to grow.
They gotta do a set a week. So there was a lot of thought about two things. First, is this a punishment for taking initial profits over long-term goodwill? Like that's kind of been the theme that I've read today. And I think that's actually possible.
Did you get that from a taco loving guy in the basement?
No, is that what he said?
I assume so. I didn't watch his video yet, but
did he have a video about it?
Did he make a video?
Of course he did. Yeah.
I don't know.
Already?
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, he beat you, Josh. I didn't watch it. Yeah.
Wow.
Just get on his level.
Rudy probably knew about this.
Yeah, he probably is Cynthia Williams.
Yeah.
Hands off the banana. And so like the second
He's
thing
probably the next president.
I listen, that was my speculation. Is that I want Rudy.
Oh my God, the podcast would be so much fun.
Oh my God, I just want it for the ride. I think it would be bad for Magic. I just want it for the ride.
Horrible.
It'd be wild for Magic.
I just want to be on the roller coaster.
How many patrons does he have? That's the number of boxes they print.
It's Sorcery 2.0. So like
George, let me touch on what you just said about.
You can touch the banana.
Yeah, I would like. Can I touch the banana, please? Pass.
Well, we should pass the banana tonight.
Stop interrupting each other. We should pass whoever has the banana. If you're holding the banana, you get to use your lips.
I'm holding my banana right now.
If you're not holding the banana, no lips. We're already banned.
How could anybody not love this podcast? It is chaos. Go ahead with your banana point.
Next week.
Do you have a point, Josh?
Let's get crazy tinfoil Hattie. Does she see? We've talked about Magic not making a ton of money. Let's put tinfoil hats over all of our bananas just to be safe. We talked about Magic not making a ton of money, right? And how much it costs to make these Universes Beyond sets. Is she looking at this going, oh, if I stay here, it's bad for my career? I'm going to make the exit now.
That is 100% my gut. She's looking ahead and being like, Magic's best days are behind it. George is right on the podcast.
I don't want to be at the helm of this ship. I'm going to sell my captainship. And Cynthia Williams is like, I'm going to go find a banana elsewhere.
I guess that you could make me an argument that she left rather than them booting her out because they don't have a replacement yet. Is that normal, George? How does that work in?
This is pretty quick.
Yeah, like you would think that if they were booting her out, they would have already started a process and have somebody in line, right? Like
you would also think they would try to get more time. In my experience, when you're trying to move on from somebody, you have them in through the replacement to try to make that as seamless as possible. When someone moves on, the company is left scrambling. Now, we're not banana presidents or anything like that, but this smells of her leaving.
So in typical May the Zoo be with you fashion, today is Wednesday when we're recording. Tomorrow on Thursday, she's going to announce that she's the president of Lorcana at Disney.
Man, George, if she's the president of Lorcana, are you more or less confident in Lorcana?
Oh, more. I think she's really good.
What is she? I don't see anything that she has done.
The last 2 years,
her name on it. That's the problem.
What do you think? What has she done bad that's had her name on it?
My point is, she's a nothing burger. She hasn't done anything. She hasn't steered the ship. She hasn't led any. We hear from Chris Cox more than we've heard from her.
Well, he's the CEO.
He's the CEO of Hasbro, not of Wizards of the Coast.
I know you don't love this, Louis, but Hasbro actually owns Wizards of the Coast.
I know. My point is that there's no direction for Magic the Gathering currently. There's very clearly
a direction for Magic.
No, there is not a.
You don't like the direction for
Magic and tell me you don't want the 10.
We have had. How can you guys tell me that there's a direction for Magic the Gathering when they've changed the booster box at least 3 times in the last.
The direction for Magic the Gathering is embrace outside IPs and print 10 to 11 sets a year and make everything about Commander. That's the direction of Magic the Gathering. It's a very clear direction. It's very obvious. Wait, how is it not the direction for Magic?
I don't agree that that's very clear. They also have Arena that they're pushing that doesn't even have Commander on it right now.
So I think that is the biggest news. That was the second point I was going to bring up. This is terrible for Magic Arena. This is terrible for Magic Arena.
You're taking your captain who had a digital background and maybe replacing them with someone who doesn't.
I think this is very bad news for WotC.
So she hasn't done that much. Like, Josh, you play Arena. How much has Arena changed in the last 2 years?
So you have gotten changes to the Arena economy. It's still not good. It's better than it was 2 years ago, which is still arbitrarily terrible. However, Arena's gotten a bunch of new game modes in the last 2 years. There are people playing on it more.
On Arena.
Yeah, and they're bringing things back to Arena. So like George said, they're bringing old cards into Arena. There has been a push.
How do I know more about this than you do, Louis?
The question with Arena
I don't see that stuff as like a leading game-changing avenue for Magic Arena.
What do you want them to do?
30 years old. What did you want them to do for Arena? They can't put Commander on Arena because the whole point of Commander, you have told me from the beginning, is social interaction, and there's no chat or voice in Arena.
Home at your store, Louis. I've heard about
that. But why can't they do play chat for?
No.
Hold on.
Because that's a whole new beast. You don't want to moderate. You don't want to moderate that.
Why can't I send you two an invite in Arena and play Commander with you two, my friends that I know in real life, not a random,
because you can do that on Magic Online.
No, why don't they have things like, I'm saying that if you want to say that she has had such an emphasis and an impact on Arena, why don't we have those?
We're not. We're just telling you. No, I'm telling you. You just asked me to say things that have changed with Arena. That is all I've told you. I did not
change in your hearing, Louis. Not related at all.
We even prefaced this whole thing with how wild it was. I said it in my video today that you didn't watch. That they brought in a digital expert and they didn't change the digital scene that much. They actually did more for the paper scene, bringing back RCQs and Magicka. The paper scene has changed tenfold more than the digital scene. I would have never guessed that. That's the point I was trying to make.
And then you would be my argument of that on the podcast.
Here would be my argument to you, Dr. Louis.
Yes.
She did a lot of changes for D&D.
Okay.
A lot.
Yes.
I think it's only fair to not even speculate, but to assume that the next step was to do those kind of similar changes to Magic the Gathering. She didn't have time to do both. She started with D&D.
I'm going to be honest. I know nobody that plays D&D with D&D Beyond. I know 0 people.
I mean, it's done well.
I know a lot of people in my life who play D&D. Not a single one of them. Yes, I do. Not a single one of them. Yes, I do. Not a single one of them play D&D.
No, you don't. Nobody believes you. This is Louis nonsense. I mean, it's been mentioned in every earnings call that it's done well. So clearly somebody outside of West Virginia is playing it. I know that's shocking, Louis. Maybe you guys are still playing Cryptic over there in West Virginia, but other people have learned.
We got rid of our uncut sheet. We replaced the Cryptic uncut sheet with a fossil foil sheet.
So you went from one dead card game to another. That's great.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, good. Dude, I was pricing out those cards I got. Brutal.
Do you want to hang my Legions uncut sheet in your shop?
What happened to Pokemon? It's down.
Pokemon.
Horrific.
They should hire Cynthia Williams. She's obviously the only solution.
I mean, I actually wonder if Lorcana should actually call her.
No.
Do you think she had a bad tenure?
Yeah, I do. I don't think she did anything. I think
you just said she was a nothing burger, and now you're saying she had bad tenure.
No, I said I don't think she did anything. I just said I don't think she did anything. I think she did nothing. She was a nothing burger.
So, you don't do you not agree that the certainly Universes Beyond has become a much more prevalent part of Magic the Gathering? I agree with you that that change started before her, but I would say her tenure is one that made it permanent. Would you not agree with that?
I mean, I don't know that there's any way that we would know what's going on the inside of that.
So then how can we say she's a nothing burger if we don't know?
I think I agree that Universes Beyond has been successful in the last 2 years. But I also believe that Universes Beyond is not Cynthia Williams' project. I don't think that.
I agree with that, but I think she made it important.
So giving her the responsibility for that in her tenure here, I think is
Even if you don't create it, you still have to nurture it. You still have to make it grow. There's still an operations,
also,
view of
I
all
don't
of
think.
this. But what's our biggest failure then?
I think the biggest failure is not having a succinct release cadence of similar products that make sense to the consumer, and working with the growth of the end consumer, like stores and stuff like that. I don't think that they do a good enough job of leading that charge and having a succinct model. I think they change things way too often, way too rapidly, without really understanding the dynamics of their customers. They look at data like Amazon and all that stuff rather than data from people who are on the ground and playing in with customers. I think that's a big issue. I don't think they did anything for the last 2 years to really benefit.
So, but that you just brought up Amazon. There hasn't been Amazon dumps of the product since 2024. We haven't seen the insane 58% off collector boxes, right?
In the last 4 months, we haven't seen that.
And we definitely would have seen that with something like Karlov Manor. Historically, we've seen that by now. Does she not get credit for killing?
I don't know if we would have seen it by now.
Okay. Does she not get credit for killing the Amazon dump?
You've got the banana stand to do that now.
Which we'll be here in 1 minute. But does she not get credit for killing the Amazon dump then?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
The thing I would say, Louise, I think you're asking somebody to do way too much in 2 years. I think he drastically changed the landscape of D&D. I think to then say, why didn't you also drastically change the landscape of Magic the Gathering is probably an unfair goal for 2 years. At a major corporation of which you're a subsidiary. She doesn't have she works for somebody.
Yeah.
Or the Warhammer Commander decks.
Yeah, I think she's done it. I think it'd be
the Warhammer Commander decks would have come out while she was starting
before her tenure, right?
Yeah,
that
would have been the week one.
But that model has shifted. We've now included collector boxes. We've now got there have been shifts and changes to these models. We got a whole new. We just talked about. We got a whole new booster box, right? That's part of your. We don't have a succinct, consistent delivery system. Well, she made a change with the Play booster box. We've got a whole new. Delivery system there. If down the line, if the Play booster box works, do we look back on this and say Cynthia Williams massive W?
I think that's probably the most valid argument to things that potentially she has changed would be the Play booster box. I would say that, and I like the Play booster box change, and maybe the
secret layer shift back in printing as well.
Yeah.
That's her decision 100%. That happened. This decision that happened 2 months ago was not made 2 years ago.
I think you're looking I think what you're trying to say, she was not a transformational leader. And I think that's totally fair.
Yeah.
I don't think she was a transformational leader for Magic. I think he was for D&D. Yeah. But Louis, I don't think Magic can have a transformational leader at this point.
I disagree.
It's too old. It's too soggy, and you work for somebody else.
Yeah, I think that's exactly.
Buddy, we got a guest. We got a guest that is a Magic the Gathering.
I want to see your banana
leader.
I think that's.
Can we blur the bottom corner of the screen?
I think that's exactly what Magic needs. Though is that transformational leader. So I hope the replacement for Cynthia is somebody. Hold on, let me end my side of this by saying I hope the replacement for Cynthia is somebody that can give Magic the Gathering a vision and a direction that can be followed down the line. I think that's important.
What a wonderful campaign speak. It says nothing, but sounds really pretty when you say
down
it.
The line.
I want Magic the Gathering to really do good things in the future. Thanks, Dr. Louie.
No, having a leader who can lead in a way that gets people. If you would let me finish, then you can hear the whole thing.
What a leader who can lead and make products really fun and great.
Leads in a way that down the line, from distro to store owners to people on the ground, they understand the vision and what Magic the Gathering wants to be and wants to become. That's what I think that Wizards needs. So, George, what do you think that Wizards needs when they replace Cynthia?
What do I think they need? I think they do need a transformational leader. I think they're going to get one. I think they're not going to get a transformational leader. They need to do hard shifts to online. They need code cards and packs. They need things to pump. They need things to understand that the boomer era is over and people like me are dying off. And it's time to look at the whippersnappers like Louis for the future. As scary as that is to all of us. And like, they're not going to get that though. Like, that is not, Hasbro is too big of a company to have kind of this transformational leader. I think it's just too big. It's like, I don't think I like Chris Cox as a leader, I think, but he ain't got that dog in him either. He does not have that. He ain't got that dog in him.
Mm-hmm. And now that we've become, Hasbro, WotC, such a big company, I made the argument today that you're going to get a lot of people doing the Cynthia Williams. You come in for 2-3 years, you bolster your resume, you put some good numbers on paper, you go elsewhere. To have someone who transforms Magic, makes a major change, you're going to need longer of a tenure than that. And I don't think you're going to get that here. I don't think you're going to find a company human that just sticks it out, is in it for the long haul at this point.
I also think there's another problem we haven't discussed. Like, a lot of excitement in other games right now, and that's its own problem.
God, we were just 3 years early on it, guys. There's a lot of excitement legitimately in other games, and we called it and we're wrong.
There he is.
So right.
Banana appears. The banana appeareth. That's what Magic needs more of. We need more bananas.
We need
this
more
is
bananas.
A transformational leader.
I love
this is what a transformational leader is.
I love The Office.
Is that a spicy margarita?
I cannot confirm nor deny that it's spicy.
It's spicy marked up.
I want you to know I brought the big beers today because this was a special occasion.
Excellent.
So for those of you who don't know, we are joined by Mr. Banana Stand, who's dressed as a banana, drinking the spicy margs.
Love it. If you are listening to this podcast right now on Spotify, please
stop listening. Go to YouTube.
Yeah.
Go to YouTube and check out the spicy margarita banana stand banana man.
Do they have banana margaritas? Would that be good?
I couldn't find banana. I had to settle for watermelon. So
watermelon marg.
A watermelon marg, though, is pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It also doesn't count as alcohol because it's refreshing.
Well, Mike, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the Amazing Zuby with you, America's most bananas TCG podcast. We are, of course, joined by Spicy Mark, Banana, and Josh's sunglasses.
He's shining too bright, man. It's the only thing I had in reach. He's shining too bright.
Mike, I want to say you're coming in a hot point of the podcast, and after we've already speculated that you were actually Mike Waddell, secretly trying to get back on the podcast.
That would have been way better.
I half expected Rudy to show up. I'm not going to lie.
It's just Mike Waddell sitting next to Rudy in banana costumes.
All right, let's introduce Mike for who he actually is. So a couple weeks ago on the podcast, I'm gonna paint the picture for everybody. Thunder Junction collector boxes were $238 on TCG Player, and then TCG Player came out with
for the banana,
a wide advertisement everywhere, plastering the banana stand onto all of our devices. I have 4 TCG Player accounts. I don't know why. But I have 4. I don't know.
Are you undercutting yourself?
I promise you, I'm breaking terms of service on that. TCG Player, please don't ban me.
The banana man will put in a good word for you.
Yeah,
I'm breaking terms of service by scraping the data all the time too. I actually looked it up.
I got 4 notifications that the banana stand had $200 boxes of Thunder Junction Commander or collector boxes. So then we talked about that on the podcast, and we speculated, as we do so well, wildly, that the banana stand was not a real thing. That it was a front. What?
We didn't speculate that it wasn't a real thing. We agreed it existed.
We speculated. We did a lot of speculation.
We didn't imagine a banana costume. We agreed it was a thing.
We did what we do best. And then I received an email from Mike saying, "Hey, this is the banana stand. I've been watching the podcast." Mike, you've been watching our podcast for a year and a half?
Yeah, I had a friend who told me about it about a year and a half ago. And
good friend.
You know, I started just kind of casually watching it and to like not blowing smoke up your guys' butts, but it's one of the few podcasts I still have time to listen to, and I choose to listen to it every week it comes out.
Wow. We appreciate that. Thank you for listening. And shout out to your friend. Want to give your friend a shout out?
His name is Nathan. He's a good dude.
Nathan, thanks for joining the podcast, Nathan.
Hey, dog.
Everybody listening, be more like Nathan.
Yeah, share the love.
Tell your friends about the
tell your friends about the podcast, and also find yourself a friend like Mike that will wear a banana costume.
Absolutely,
this is a valid business expense.
Yes, he gets the taxes.
All right, Mike, we have lots of questions.
Okay. So before we get there, before Louis goes to his nonsense, Mike, tell me about the banana stand.
Well, like the name?
Well, the name and is it an LGS? Tell me, what is the banana stand?
The banana stand is one TCG player seller account, and the idea behind the name was my strong belief that I don't think it matters what your name is on TCG player, and I think
that seems to be correct.
A lot of people put too much thought into it or overvalue thinking that there's a ton of customer loyalty out there, and not that there isn't, but the name just doesn't mean much, and so we'd say, why not just have fun with it? So we've had that account for a few years now, and we decided, why not just make it a funny name that will give some people a good laugh? So that's why it's named that way.
Do you have an LGS? Are you part of an LGS or no?
Yeah, I work for a game store. We're real. I'm in my basement at home right now, so there's stuff everywhere in the background. But I do work for a real game store in Missouri. Everything on our account is truthful. We're a certified hobby shop with TCG Player.
Is your game store called GTS Distributors?
It is not.
Okay. I guess I just had to ask. I had to ask. You never know.
Yeah.
So let me ask you the question that I think a lot of people have. You guys sold boxes for $200.
Mm-hmm.
Some would call it killing the market. Shout out to you. And big shout out.
Some are Louis.
How does that come about?
I wouldn't say that. I did say that. That is what brought him on the podcast.
so tell me about how did that come about? How did that come about?
Just an opportunity was presented to us. So there's some stuff that I can't talk about in great detail.
The banana secrets.
But you know, if you do a lot of business with companies, they will reach out to you and discuss ideas or opportunities. And so we had the chance to discuss some things, and that led, one of those conversations led to this.
Now, are you comfortable telling us if that came from the distributor side or the TCG player side? How that conversation started? Are you comfortable sharing that or no?
Not from distributors. No.
Okay. So it's from TCG player probably.
So,
yeah. Sure.
Okay.
So do you, when you do something like that, because this was my argument for it, from what I know from distribution and the prices that we get, I can't really sell boxes. I certainly can't pre-sell boxes at $200 on TCG player. After fees and shipping, I would be losing.
You're not spicy marked up.
I would be losing, a significant amount of money. So there'd be no reason for me to do that. Is there special privileges when you get a deal like that with TCG player that allows you to be able to be profitable in that way? Or is that just a way for you to get your banana stand name out there to everybody?
Why did you be with you? Is this all a ploy?
It's 2024. We're all in on viral marketing. So, so I mean, if you take the transaction of purchasing a box from distribution and selling it on a platform and shipping it to a customer and handling customers, all the steps, right? You could negotiate your price with distribution if that were possible. You could also look at your shipping materials and get that cost way down, as well as your shipping costs and negotiating rates with UPS, getting commercial rates with USPS. There's each step of the process, right? There's ways to possibly have a different cost basis or cost than others. And certainly, the platform is one part of it. That's one part I can't go into too much detail about though. Okay. But I on the episode where you guys first brought this up, Louis, you mentioned that your cost to ship a box is about $10, whereas our cost is about, I think on average, $5.75, $6.
Banana Man just told you to get good. I'll decipher.
But it's part of the discussion, right? It's how is this possible? But you could have different shipping rates, you could have different costs of boxes, you could have different costs of buying the boxes from distribution. Yeah. So some of that is just the opportunities we're able to make for ourselves, or discuss as a one-time thing perhaps, or whatever. So I can confirm that we did not do this trying to lose money.
Sure.
We do know how to do math.
That's better than Louis.
I know. That was my point. I know that a store like that would not do that to lose money. So there must be some, I didn't think through the negotiations on shipping and stuff, but it sounds like there's things that you can't share with us from TCG Player as well. So
is your LGS big? Can you share that? Like, can you share the name of the LGS, or is that a no-go? Or
the owner would prefer if I didn't. This is more. It's more fun this way too. Just to leave.
I love it.
And then also besides that too, it's kind of like knowing the name doesn't really change anything. You know, like
I would
big LGS.
I would speculate, but if I speculated, I would be right. So I'm not going to speculate.
My speculation was GTS.
It wouldn't actually be hard to figure it out. There's a lot of people like on the download. There's a lot of people who know, so you just have to ask around.
Yeah,
Louis,
George, I didn't tell you who it is because I just didn't, but I know
it's probably for the best, so we couldn't blab.
Yeah.
Is it a big? Is it a big OGS? A small? Like, tell me about the OGS. Can you tell me anything about it? Like, is it big, small, medium?
They do a lot of online sales for all the games.
Our annual spend is very strong. We spend a lot. We sell a lot. We sell a lot at a lot of different places.
So, okay. How do you and the owners think through this sale? Like, I understand you guys can do math, unlike Louis. I understand Louis sucks as an LGS. I agree with you on that one, Mr. Banana. But like, clearly you guys didn't make a killing per box. I wouldn't. Right. Like this was, I'm guessing you made $1 or $2 a box.
This banana suit ate up a lot of the profit.
Yeah, that would be my hunch. So like,
wait, hold on, Josh. Do you know how many boxes they sold? Don't you know?
I do.
Wait. Banana Man, do you know how many boxes you sold? Like off the top of your head?
I don't have the exact number, but I can guess pretty close.
All right, hold on. All right, Josh.
Give me your guess.
Actually, I lied. Here's what he won't know though: is he won't know how many were canceled after the sale, which is an interesting sidebar.
Okay, hold on, Josh.
So hold on.
And then
just so you know a little bit about how my technology works, we do pick up canceled sales as long as they're canceled within the week.
Okay.
So you have a 7-day window. If you cancel after 7 days, we'll miss your cancel.
I want to thank Mr. Banana because you have now told both Josh and Louis to get good, and you've been cool with me, and I appreciate that, Mr. Banana. I want the viewers to realize that.
I'm sorry, the technology is ready to answer the question.
So far, Banana has told Josh and Louis they suck, and me and him, spicy marked up.
George,
we're in.
You're making an ass out of yourself, buddy. He showed you up when he showed up in the banana suit.
Oh my gosh! What if he wore the banana suit with a Hawaiian shirt?
You don't know what he has underneath it?
Oh, I do. We talked earlier.
I hope you're not wearing pants under that thing.
I'm really not.
No, he's free bananing it up.
Gotta leave room for the banana in the banana suit.
That's the Patreon exclusive later.
You stole my only bananas joke. I was gonna say you can't share the TCG player info on the podcast, but will you share it on Only Bananas?
So how many boxes did they sell? How did y'all sell roughly?
Josh.
We had 1650 plus. It was more than 1650. We'll just, without giving too much of a direct answer, it was more than 1650 and actually accounted for more than 57% of all collector boxes sold on the platform to date.
Bananas crushing the markets.
Yeah. So the question first of all,
wait,
2 to 3 grand.
See if you were right.
Do those numbers pass the smell test for you?
There were also two participants in the deal, so I don't know how many the other seller sold, but that sounds in the range.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, there was another participant?
Yes, there was a couple.
It was the orange stand, Louis. Come on.
What was the name of the other participant?
The cucumber stand.
I think the other seller was. I think it was it Phantom Mitch?
Phantom Mitch on the day of match the price. However, you maintained
the old Nick from the podcast.
No.
Did you notice you maintained TCG player superior banana, even when your price was matched? You became the
top banana
lead listing.
Also,
you were the big banana.
Josh, if you remember, there was another store that hopped in there for about 30 seconds to test.
That's true. So there was a speculation on my part that whatever deal may or may not have happened with TCG Player or other affiliate program or whatever it might be,
eBay,
that they blocked you from listing lower than that. So my buddy Louis went on and listed a box 1 cent cheaper than yours for a split second just to see if it would let you. And it totally let you. It totally let Louis lose money to make me happy.
Yeah. Well, other than we didn't actually sell a box, we pulled it.
Well, yeah, that's normal though.
It did, yeah.
So let me ask, Mr. Banana, why did you do this? Like, I understand y'all made $2 or $3 grand. Let's say, I'm just guessing here, maybe $4 grand.
That's wild speculation.
Right. Which I'm good at. That would be my strong suit.
I know why.
Like, what was like other than the $4 grand in your pocket, right? Which you're doing a lot of work for $4 grand. Like, that's what,
a lot of risk.
Was this a marketing thing? Like, what does this Mr. Banana hope to get out of this?
What everyone wants: increased spend and increased allocations long term.
That's what
Modern Horizons 3.
No, you guys aren't that foolish, are you?
3.
Is that really it?
Yep.
I knew it.
And
that seems like a very simple answer.
Can I ask you this? Do you guys sell sports cards?
From time to time, we dabble.
There you go. I found why allocations actually matter now. It's not for dead TCGs. It's for sports. Okay, that's interesting. So really, it's just like it's a way to get your spend up to get better products.
We would never make the decision only based on that. That would be foolish to be chasing that. But it does feel important to the business and important to the growth long term. Also, stress testing our staff.
Yeah,
see, we shipped out 1,037 packages today. All went out the door.
Yeah,
all in one day.
I was going to say it's also probably stuff like this is also maintaining work for your employees to do, right? You look at the schedule, you look at the release cadence, and you say, hey, if I want to have employees full time and the ability to do large sales for Modern Horizons 3 and for whatever, you need to have the scale of employees to handle that. And so you do things like this to just simply have work for employees to do. You don't make a ton of money, but it allows you to consistently have employees that learn and grow and have that thing.
Yeah. That's the goal of every business. You want to see what you're capable of, see where your limits are, but then also just stay busy and keep doing stuff. I mean,
okay.
We're selling Magic, so if we make $1, that's better than losing $30. So,
shout out to Karlov Manor.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you. It seems like you guys have multiple, maybe not owners, but multiple heads at the top that are working together to make these decisions. Is that true, or is this is not you as Mr. Banana deciding, hey, I'm going to go YOLO on Outlaws of Thunder Junction? You've got
Where'd the multiple banana head theory come from?
It's like a Hydra of chaos.
No, but it's not,
that would have been such a better name for the podcast.
But Mike, are you the top? Are you the top of the banana?
No.
Right.
You're so far from the tip, Louis. It's not even funny.
Where are we on the banana scale?
I'm gonna have my banana out. You tell me when to stop.
Mike, step into the background and show us on the banana where we are.
But your risk level on something like that. So this is where I start thinking, like, I could never take that risk as a individual who owns an LGS and a crappy YouTube channel with apparently the podcast that the banana stand watches.
Don't log yourself that bad.
Hey, let's not dump on crappy YouTube channels right now, okay?
I am in no position to take a 15,000 or 1,500 box risk on Outlaws at Thunder Junction. I'm curious on where you feel like on that risk level.
The thing that's honestly why I really will never get sick of Magic on the business side is because like there's 100 different business models that work for Magic for TCGs in general too. Like you can, if I were to like tell you my next 12 months of what I want to accomplish, what I want to do, you may look at me like I'm crazy. And it could be because I'm in a banana costume, but it also could be because like your business model is entirely different and your goals are different, but like you can still succeed. It's like some people will never touch singles under $5, and some people are like, that's my gravy. So, it's for us and what we're trying to accomplish with our business, like this fits at the moment, so we're rolling with it.
What are you trying to accomplish? Like over the next 12 months? Where do you see your banana suit in the next 9 to 12 months?
Well, we'll probably have to change the account name after this and come up with something new. But
why? Why is that?
Well, now just to have fun with it for you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Have you guys done this often?
I've logged into and sold on and managed the accounts for like 9 different TCG player accounts, and all have had various levels of sane to insane use like account names, and we've done different strategies.
Have you worked with TCG Player like this before on other sales? Was that you guys as well? And the banana stand just the one that we caught and made fun of because of the name?
This is the second sale that the banana stand has done on TCG Player like that. We also did the Fallout Commander decks. Those were featured as a 2-day sale as well.
And labeled as banana stand?
It was you guys, yeah.
There was also another participant during that sale when it launched, and our inventory didn't go live until like the afternoon of the first day. So I think if you just checked it like in the beginning, you wouldn't have seen us the last time.
Gotcha. Interesting.
I guess I want to have a question on the opposite side. You guys talked about getting your spend up in these allocations, but your sale was, I would consider to be massively successful. Like tons of people clicked that link and bought boxes. So, just try the graph of the data looks hilarious. Like your guys' 2-day sale is like here, and then the rest of the market comes back to normalcy as far as volume's concerned.
Your banana was firm.
Yes, the banana is very firm in that portion of the graph. Were you guys ever concerned like, hey, we might oversell the number of boxes we can get? Are you not concerned with we sold too many, we can't get this many products?
Like how everybody who had OGS just kind of laughed at that question.
Like, I don't know, Louis, could you get 1,000 collector boxes?
I'm almost positive they confirmed their numbers before they listed them on TCG.
That would be crazy if we didn't do that. That would just be pure insanity. And also against terms of service, probably.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. So, all right. So I know Louis really interrupted you because that's what Louis does best.
No, Josh interrupted him. Louis did not.
The next 9 to 12 months. I gotta take the spirit back. But what do you see over the next 9 to 12 months?
I mean, just growth.
Louis?
Like when we're able to grow and sell more things, that means as a business you can almost take more risk because like when things are going well and you have all these, fishing poles out in the lake, you're not worried about when the next bite's going to come. So, the more you can do and the more you can grow, the more you can do, Mm-hmm. I came into this business from selling cards myself, started during the pandemic, like every Cinderella story, but I made some unique, connections to like source products. And so for me, it's interesting to see how things for my path have evolved thus far, and to see I didn't think we'd ever be able to do this or this. And we've started checking things off my personal list of that would be cool if we could ever do something like this. And so it's I don't handle the strict financial goals of the business. I'm more like an operations guy in the company. So our main ownership has a pretty clear vision of with dollar signs attached of sales growth and goals they want to hit. That's just the boring stuff though. I want to work for a company that can do a lot of really interesting and unique things. Like Louis, like months ago, you posted some videos stumbling upon the hidden value in the sample packs for commander decks, and how cracking commander decks wasn't that bad. Well, that I used when I had more time working for myself, that was 80% of my revenue some months, and I made a living doing it, Mm-hmm. And when sample packs came out, I was like, oh, I can gamble while I'm gonna do boring work. This is great,
right?
So if you don't have the staff and you don't have the resources, you may never, think to unlock this potential of I could take these sample packs and maybe I could sell them, or maybe I could, use them as prizing. There's just a lot of the more you do, the more opportunities unlock. And that's just kind of what I'm just along for the ride with it. And it's been great so far.
Yeah, it sounds like you're in a cool position because you get to suggest or look at potential risk things that don't necessarily fall on you as an individual, right? As a you can take those extra risks that allow you to grow in a really cool way because it's a bigger company than just one, yourself.
Yeah, and if I'm having a bad week, having a bad day, things keep going, but we're things are getting done right now while we do this. I've got people that are sorting some Ixalan full art lands from the bundles, and we're just so we can list them later to sell them because they sell really well.
Yeah,
and me myself, I would never have time to mess with that, So it's just the more you can observe all these different markets and opportunities, you can start to piece together, a lot of fun stuff. And because for me, Magic never gets boring. And Magic is for me like the core passion for it. Like I dabble in other games for the business side, but like Magic is what has my attention always.
Yeah. What's the history of that? When did you get involved in Magic, and what is your favorite format? Are you a Commander hater like Josh, or do you what do you like?
I started playing in Ice Age as like a middle school kid. And then like most people came back and quit like 4 times. And, like during the pandemic, I was in my basement and I found a collection that I'd apparently bought on Craigslist like 6 years before that. And I was like, well, I'm right back in it. And you look up the prices, everything, you're like, what's going on? Yeah. So it just draws me back in. And I've always been more of a collector at heart. So like, my favorite format to play is limited, just because I can show up and play it and I don't have to like spend hours, prepping a deck and doing all that. I just like to immerse myself in the game. So I've always been more of a limited player, but I'll play Commander. I'll play Modern. Like I'll play whatever people want to play. Like I just enjoy playing the game with like good people around me. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Last question. How are you feeling about the current state of Magic, and what would you wish would change, or what would you wish it would lean into more?
Well, right now, Outlaws, in my opinion, is a very good set. I have some good friends who stream and do live selling and stuff, and they've all said great things. The pace of sales and everything has been good for them. It had obviously it's been selling well. The cowboy theme landed, but overall, Magic feels better now. It feels like everything kind of bottomed out like November, December of last year in terms of both like financially and also people's just fear mongering and dooming about it. And everything feels good right now. The only thing that's weird is that there's like like you go on the Facebook groups and there's like everyone arguing about proxies all the time. And it just,
Louis,
it feels like people are
touchy subject on this podcast.
Yeah. So I wish, for Magic, for like moving forward, the only thing I wish is that we could we could not do things like epilogue boosters and do like things
those were so good.
If you asked a generic room of Magic players, they would all unanimously tell you don't do this, and somehow Wizards still releases products like this, and it's like everything feels like a puzzle, and I wish it didn't have to be such a taxing puzzle of like, okay, we're gonna get a bunch of this product, but like, what do we do with it? Like, what do you do with Ravnica Clue Edition to not just lose your butt on it?
Do you as a retailer almost feel like Magic has no sense of direction?
I think, I mean, these would be some spicy margarita takes, but I think whether people like it or not, Universes Beyond is bringing a lot of people back to Magic that had taken a break, and that's very, very, very healthy for the game and for Hasbro's and their shareholders.
So Louis set you up with that question because we were debating that before you came on, and you just totally wrecked his.
Laid out a direction.
No, hold on. He hasn't finished.
McGregor him in the banana.
Took him 3.5
you
seconds.
just kicked him
banana
right
suit
square in the banana.
Magic.
And I appreciate that.
So you think
but
that
Louis lied to you. That's not your last question on the podcast.
Well, I
have other questions too.
I have
so
follow up. Yeah, I'm just whatever, tossing the banana.
A lot of questions for the banana.
Wait, so you think that Universes Beyond is the straight off direction of Magic the Gathering?
I don't think it should be something that is relied on and leaned on too hard, because if we don't have the core of what Magic has always been, like it'll get weird fast. So I hope that Wizards can do a good job of giving us like a good feeling Magic set often enough that we don't like lose our minds about it. Like OG Dominaria is like one for the ages, right? Like it's just a really good set, and we don't have to have those sets every set, but if every couple years they knock it out of the park and it's not like a Fortnite Modern legal set, like then we're good. And we can have all the other things too that bring people back either into the game for the first time or bring them back into the game, and that they took a hiatus, and this was the catalyst. That's what I see when I talk to people a lot and on with customers and everything, is like there's some catalyst that brought them back in. And if Universes Beyond is that vehicle, like I'm happy to accept the craziness that comes along with it, because at least more people are playing the game.
Cool.
God, right in the banana. Right in the banana.
Right in the banana.
Louis' banana is now an innie.
I don't feel like he fully agreed with you two on that.
I think he basically said what we said verbatim.
He said very similar.
And listen, he watches the podcast. He's clearly a fan. He doesn't want to shoot you down that hard.
Like,
He'll never come back.
He said what we said using synonyms.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mr. Banana, do you guys care? Are you guys big in other TCGs as well, other than Magic, or are you guys mainly a Magic?
We sell almost everything. We have our boundaries.
Better for you, Goat-Kana or Sorcery?
We sell standard
One Piece. One Piece is pretty big.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Wait, do you sell One Piece?
Yes.
Do you sell Goat-Kana?
Yes.
Do you sell Sorcery?
Yes. We haven't had it in stock in a long time, but when we
you're not
had
team. Okay, so
all right, you're not Team Covenant.
You're not Team Covenant.
Nailed
You're
it.
Team Covenant. You're not GTS. Now we're getting somewhere.
We got somewhere when we learned they were in Missouri.
You're not GTS. You're not Team Covenant.
We
You're not Rudy.
off both of those things. All three of those things were crossed off when we learned they were in Missouri.
You're also probably not.
I thought Team Covenant was in Missouri.
You're probably not Game Grove.
Oklahoma. They're in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So close. Okay. What other what game sells the best for you? Like if you're like this game gets it and is kicking ass, taking names, what game is that?
Game or product?
Both. Give it to me, Mr. Banana.
Well, Pokemon, but most people don't play the game. They just collect the cards.
Nobody believes you.
Oh, you just wrecked George's entire season of the podcast.
That was some Louis fan service if I've ever heard.
George, you just got voted off the podcast. You just got replaced by a giant banana.
Wait, does Pokemon really sell that well for you?
Yes.
Yeah. You have to be very creative. And
does that mean like $80 boxes? Like how creative are you?
Hold on.
Let me ask a question. Let me follow this up. Mr. Banana. Mr. Mike the Banana. How much of your Pokemon sells on TCG Player as opposed to on your other websites that you cannot name?
Currently, I would say we sell less than 1% of our Pokemon on TCG Player.
Oh my God. It's almost like I was right, you guys.
No,
you two. It's almost like I've been right this whole season.
Nobody believes this.
Oh,
you can look at the prices to show that you're not right. That part's easy. All right, so what product sells the best?
This has been my favorite podcast ever in the history of this channel, including the one where George got banned. Including that podcast.
I only heard about that one, and I have to admit I haven't gone back and watched it, but I need to.
It's a tearjerker.
The best way to watch this podcast is to watch episode 1 and then the George got banned episode back to back.
Just straight to the hit.
Yeah. Watch them at the same time.
Skip the 60 episodes in the middle.
If you want to take acid and watch it at the same time, I've never done that, but I can imagine it's just a wild trip.
Like the first episode to the band episode, banana suit, gold. So all right, so Pokemon sells more for you.
When MetaZoo ended, I looked forward to nothing more than I'm like, oh man, on Friday. It's gonna be like a memorial service,
and then it unended.
Did you guys carry MetaZoo when it was around?
Yes.
You still carry MetaZoo because maybe it still is.
It was before I worked at the company, but I know that we exited cleanly before it got weird.
Drop the bags, baby.
Mike Waddell kicked me in the banana. So. Do you guys want to buy some Kickstarter boxes?
Josh has had a question for at least 30 minutes.
No, I have the last question I want to ask.
Oh, okay.
I want to give Mr. Banana a chance to give a pitch.
Pokemon sells well for you. What product sells well for you? Like, is there like a what would you look at as like this is doing everything right?
Say something Lorcana so he doesn't cry.
In Pokemon or like with
anything.
Let me think for a second.
That's rare for this podcast. I appreciate that.
You're saying like what's an example of this is a good product?
Yeah.
What a weird question, George.
Yeah. Why? That's a good question.
He just outlined that he does every TCG, and you're like, hey, pick a product.
Way to kill the mood, George.
Into making a successful product in the TCG space. That's not a bad question.
Mr. Banana, look at my shelf and
rip
pick
the Band-Aid off and do the spicy Marg take, and I'm gonna say that the Three Brothers deck that's coming out this Friday, where it now has randomized parallel promos inside a starter deck as a separate pack, is like if you ignore completely that Bandai is underprinting everything and not making it available in the correct channels to stores who need it for their customers, the product itself is like very degenerate, and I love it. Like it's just the idea of like you at most you need to buy 2 of these decks to get a playset of everything, but like you're gonna buy 80 of them because you want the full parallel deck. Like
Banana loves the T-Gen. I would have seen that one coming. That one I would have guessed.
Like I love the sample packs inside Commander decks as well too, because it's like you take something that's very straightforward and you add just a little spice of gambling into it. It's having a little fun, little treat, little Scooby snack, and it makes it way more fun.
It was the best when Lord of the Rings had exclusive foils that you couldn't get anywhere else until
we opened 3 of the extended art One Ring foils out of those packs.
Wow. How many? Do you remember how many you opened?
Like 1,200. It was a ridiculous number.
God, I want to be the banana man.
I almost got in a lot of trouble for that movie.
Just so you know, Louis is on Amazon right now ordering a banana costume. He's got some serious banana.
$99 1-day delivery, baby.
All right, when this channel finally dies, I'm moving to Missouri, and I'm gonna become the mini banana man.
Oh, that's a clip. Well. To all the former listeners of this podcast, has got a nice clip.
It's gonna pop up on their podcast. They'll finally have something to talk about.
There you go.
All right, Josh, let's end with the last question.
You've captured the hearts and minds of everyone on this podcast.
How did you not say he captured the bananas? How did you fumble that bad, Josh?
Yeah, 30 minutes.
I'm in the middle. Hold on. I'm in the middle of banana. You've captured our hearts and mind. You've touched our bananas. Now, Wizards of the Coast needs a new president. Give us your pitch, because you've convinced me. I want you as the next president of Wizards of the Coast. Give Wizards of the Coast your pitch to be the next prez.
I'm gonna do the Bill Gates pitch, which is I never want to be president because I can accomplish so much more just not ever being in government. So I'm just gonna stay in the private sector, baby.
There we go.
I'm in.
A banana of the people. You'll love to see it.
Is there anything you want to plug?
No. I mean, shout outs to the custom boxes we had made. They're pretty great. We had these custom foldable boxes made. So all the orders we shipped out today for one box have like a foldable box exactly the size of a collector box. That was pretty sweet.
Did you make those yourself, or were they come?
We have a box company makes.
Well, I'm not saying like were you in the back weaving them? Like, or did they already exist, or did you design them?
We have a rep for boxes, and we'll hand him products and say, hey, could you make a box that is a foldable that does exactly this, and we just get them made.
I need you to lie to me if the answer is no. Okay. Were the boxes covered in bananas? It was like a banana print box.
Okay.
That was the question. Like, was the box covered in banana print?
Invisible ink banana in 1 out of every 20 boxes.
Wow.
You got to pee on the box to find it.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. It's like this glue card.
You also have to buy a bunch of the pre-release kits from Murders at Carlisle Manor, so you can get the see-through spin down and that
finally a use for those things.
Yes.
I was gonna say the box was supposed to be for Murders at Carlisle Manor collector boxes, but nobody wanted them enough for the banana stand. So.
Even the banana stand couldn't sell the MKM collector boxes.
Actually, let me throw you one hard question here, Mr. Banana.
Okay.
You missed that one.
Yeah.
Let me restate that one for George. Let me throw you a question that will make the banana hard.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm in.
Clearly 99.99% of LGSs can't match your price on TCG Player. I know Louis tried and failed.
He succeeded.
And then failed. It's Louis. Let's be okay here. And do you guys think about do you guys consider that at all in your process? Or is it just like, well, what are you gonna do? Big boys get bigger.
I thought the question was going to be, how dare you?
No, I mean, I don't care. I'm curious.
I think I understand where you're going. I think the best thing I could say is that like we are well aware of what every other significant internet vendor is selling product for at most points in time. Yeah. And so when we make a decision to do things, like we're going to be aware of other prices. And at the time of the sale, that price wasn't even the lowest price on the internet. So
really,
so like there were other vendors, and not much cheaper. So like in that respect alone, it's like we're not trying to tank the market with like it's something we do think about.
Okay,
we want the best for obviously for our business and our customers, but also like if there's no industry for us, then it doesn't work.
Do you think you're good for the ecosystem?
Well, I think the biggest thing people overreact about with any kind of sale that any company or website or platform runs is that like for instance, this sale for these boxes was only for 2 days, and it was not announced beforehand, so no one had time to prepare for it. So the market
already had to be right.
The market, like people were already like people weren't, they weren't holding out from buying them from someone else necessarily to buy them during that sale because of the way that TCG Player chose to do what they did. It's just a pop-up sale. I think that's about the healthiest way that it can exist, because it still allows stores. The biggest benefit, and I don't know if you guys have thought much about this, but today, we shipped all the orders out. That's the first day that TCG Player allows anyone on the platform, with no exceptions given to anyone, to ship out Outlaws orders, before release. And if you went to a store for pre-release, you can, from a WPN store, pick up product in store that day and start ripping packs and having fun.
So you don't ship products before street date?
Wow.
So you're definitely not Team Covenant.
We don't cross them off the list again. I'm talking about TCG Player. I'm talking about like their rules for their platform.
I'm talking on Team Covenant, not you.
And what I'm saying, but not saying, is that like we don't have special treatment in that regard. Like we're not, just a banana. So
that's great. I think that's all. I think that's a good. Let me weigh in there. I think that's awesome. And I think that's a good thing that they didn't allow you to do that. Obviously, breaking street date would be poor on anything. I know you can't get into it. I don't think there's any problem with the free market of you guys doing whatever you want. That's frankly on Wizards, on print runs, on all that stuff. Like that would be the argument. It's a free market. Like I think that's fair. I think the only thing that I had a big issue with is and you can't say whether or not they did, but if TCG Player makes your fees less as a result, that is, in my opinion, a very unfair advertising. We have seen this now. This is something I actually wanted to talk about on the podcast this week, guys, but then we had the Banana Man. eBay has started selling things on eBay. This was a whole thing in the Pokemon world, and undercutting their own like sellers on their own platform and being able to sell and ship product. I just think like we're losing.
Amazon's been doing that for decades.
Did you say Card Shop Live or eBay?
It's like an eBay subsidiary or whatever. Yeah. But I think that's where this stuff gets really hairy, is like these marketplaces. That's the, like, we rely on TCG Player. Like my business, which is what it is. I mean, I guess you'll just see LGSs go out of business if that's how things continue to progress, and that's just the ugly truth of it. But you got to adapt or get out, I guess. But
I think, and this is completely my own opinion, not based on any information or anything like that. But I think that if I were a marketplace and I saw the potential to grow sales in one category of my marketplace, putting resources into growing that wouldn't be a bad thing. That could potentially down the road benefit all of us. And that's one way that I look at it when, I'm looking at opportunities all across our business, because I wouldn't do something if obviously it didn't benefit us, but like if it's just, if it's just like a one-time thing, it's like, why do all this work, if things aren't going to be better in the long term. But I think that, like the way you sell Magic now is changing. There, for years and years and years, there's always going to be someone or some place taking the least amount of money for a Magic product to sell it to you. That's always going to happen. Yeah. Most of them go out of business because they can't do it. Actually, it doesn't actually work.
Yeah.
And so like the modern day business owner in Magic has to just be aware that like you can't only compete on price, and you have to do something. Like Louis, you do great at content, and George makes excellent margaritas, so I've heard. But
damn right,
like
Josh is here.
You have to be able
Josh has sunglasses.
Like you can't just rely on price. Someone's always going to be cheaper somewhere, whether it be anyone, whether it be Card Shop Live tanking the market on stuff or whatever. But And we all lived through a lot of that with all the Amazon dumps and everything. Like, it's been some shenanigans for the last 18 months. So
shenanigans, even.
How
you know,
do you
like
feel about the
the
Amazon dumps?
LGS business model is like has been just like put through the ringer lately.
Yeah.
And it is tough. I think that, people like what we see at our store is like people want a connection with this play space. Like people get it. They do know that you can't have this game entirely without stores. Like most people get that. And we like, the internet's like, it's not going away. So we just have to, well,
always hope.
It's an election year. We'll see what happens.
You never know. You never know. How did you guys feel about the Amazon dumps? Like, I mean, that's obviously clearly the biggest competitor to your massive sales. It's like the Amazon dumps, right?
The biggest thing that I tried to do on the operations side was basically always be thinking like, what could they dump next? Like what probably isn't selling well, and then making sure we didn't have any of it left. Like just preemptively dumping whatever was probably going to be dumped. But most of the time the limits per person weren't such that it's going to completely mess things up. It just made it so that you weren't going to sell that product to anyone if they saw the Reddit thread saying that 1 year ago Amazon had this product for $62, so now you can never buy it again for $90.
Right.
Which is like, it's just so crazy that became like the normal dialogue. Amongst the savvy internet Magic people.
Yeah, that's probably only affecting online internet sales, not the typical customer at the LGS just says, "Oh, I want a box of Jumpstart. I'm going to spend whatever it is because I'm here and I want to crack it open and whatever." But
I think that was my questions. I mean, this has been really fascinating.
I think we gotta have the Banana Man on again.
Yeah,
maybe you don't need to have a banana costume next time.
No, that's required.
Oh, okay. That's required.
That and spicy marks are both required. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules.
Well, I do appreciate you guys, and I legitimately have been a viewer of your guys for a long time, and I
appreciate that.
I appreciate everything that you guys do, and that you guys cover a lot of games. I have a lot of good friends that play Sorcery, and they're very much looking forward to seeing that community grow.
One day.
Yeah. Tell both we said hi.
Sent 5.
It's we'll get
2030.
And I think it's like the format you guys do where you mostly just roast Louis, but you cover every game while you roast Louis. It's just the best. The best.
I appreciate that.
I think you've been doing most of the roasting these last couple weeks. How did you become the sad dog?
I like it. Yeah, well, thanks for coming on. Like, I learned a lot. I appreciate it, and best of luck to whatever your LGS is called, and best of luck to the banana stand.
God, I'm excited to find out what the banana has in store.
I can't wait for the next TCG player thing. I'm gonna.
This gives me so much perspective.
Is this
next time I make a video?
Oh, you're gonna be the customer that messages 9 times asking when your order is gonna ship.
There you go.
Oh my God, Louis would do that.
I gotta.
That's the play. I should just be your annoying customer. I should just start buying stuff. I'll open it. I had a guy the other day. He opened the box and then he was like, "Hey, I've got 11 packs left. Can I just return this?" It's like, what are you doing?
Like, what are you talking about?
He bought it, collector box, and asked if he could return it after he opened 1 pack. Yeah,
that's 100%. Wild.
I said no.
That's wild.
Yeah. Next time there's a banana stand sale, nobody watches my videos, but you're in the thumbnail, just so you know.
There you go.
You're the thumbnail of the next video for sure.
The banana.
Yes.
All right, Mike. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mike. We appreciate you.
Have a good night, guys.
Good luck. Tell Mike Waddell we say hi.
And Rudy.
Yeah, and Rudy. And Team Covenant. And GTS.
And MVP Sports.
All right. Wow. That was
what wild. A wild ride.
A lot of banana scoopies.
That was wild. That was
what a wild ride. I have never been on a wilder banana ride in my life.
That was
I wish I could say the same, Josh. I wish I could say the same.
That was a blast.
That was great. I like Mike.
Me too.
I think Mike's top of the line for a fourth regular here.
There's no way we can schedule a 4th. No way.
We got him on tonight.
We're going to film this at midnight.
It would just be us interrupting in a circle then. And it would be a. All right. Let's move on. Speaking of sorcery, to sorcery pre-orders.
How do you follow that up with anything?
I know. Yeah, this is like all downhill from here.
Lame.
All downhill from here.
Guess what? Sorcery does one set a year. We're gonna really get into it.
Their one set this year has been labeled as sold out from Team Covenant, and everybody is sending me a million messages. So I'm taking this opportunity to say my response to everybody on the podcast right now. Chill the hell out, everybody.
I wildly disagree with you.
This
is your last chance ever to get your hands on this box.
This is going to be the rarest, most limited print, I think, maybe ever.
God.
And I would like to say this right now. You ready for it, Louis?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
I'll throw you legends to 1K. Let's go,
There we
boys.
go.
Let's go, boy.
I'm fading it now.
We still don't, retailers, I still don't know the release date.
Retailers, including me. What an egotistical maniac.
Right, I'm just saying, I don't have the, we don't know anything. We don't know how many, we don't know how many boxes we're getting. We don't have any clue. We don't even know the price point. We know nothing yet. We know absolutely zero information. So for the consumer to be like, oh my gosh, it's sold out. What are we going to do? I wish I ordered boxes is absolutely wild. It is a wild thing to have as an adult. You are an adult. You're not a 5-year-old child at Walmart and the thing is sold out there.
I was with you in the beginning. Now I have no idea what's going on. I
don't even know what you're talking about.
Then it was like, you're not a child. I'm like, what is happening here?
I went into parenting mode. Sorry, everybody. I digress.
So I think I disagree with Louis. This is probably going to sell out instantly everywhere. The price is going to spike. If you haven't pre-ordered, you're probably hosed.
It's already sold out everywhere.
Yeah, it's too late. Sorry.
God, you are the child I am talking about. We will have pre-orders up eventually through Kitchen Table TCG.
Can I pre-order 1,000 boxes from you?
And yeah, you can. Let's do it. You will have an opportunity to pre-order at MSRP and all those things. It'll be okay, everybody. You don't need to panic. Wild.
The house is on fire. The boxes need to get out.
I was live streaming the other night, and all of a sudden, everybody's like, "Did you see it sold out? Oh my gosh!" I was like, "What is happening?" Anyway, yeah, that's it. That's all I really have.
I love indie TCG so
that's
much.
All
I will say this: I missed this. I missed this.
Let me ask you guys as
I missed this.
As consumers, if you were, let's say you were a consumer and you opened
George,
up.
Have you ever been a consumer before?
You opened up a case of beta. You had yourself a great time. You've been playing the game with your friends. You really enjoy it. Whatever. How much Arthurian Legends should you order?
100 boxes.
Well,
they're going to 1K.
If I'm a consumer that opened up a case of beta, I'm probably a more interested than your average consumer. So probably a case.
The case.
Yeah.
George, you're 100 boxes.
100 minimum. Minimum.
I think this is going to be an interesting...
This might be your last chance to ever open this booster box. I'd do whatever it takes to get them.
Importantly, also, another thing we should note is that Arthurian Legends is confirmed to be in waves. When they announced the beta...
That's what they said. We don't know that for sure. That's just what they claimed. This might be your one chance.
It's going to be in waves. So, you will have an initial... Based on that info, my goal is to do an initial wave 1 pre-order, and then when that allocation sells out, I'll have a wave 2 pre-order that'll have a different release date and that kind of thing. So I think that's an important thing to know too, everybody, is that you will have opportunity to get. I actually like that a lot. I think that gives them a really good scalable market thing.
Yeah, I'm glad they did that the same way that every other TCG does that's on the market today.
That's not 100% true.
What game doesn't have waves?
Star Wars Unlimited doesn't have waves.
They're having a wave in December. We know.
Well, they weren't. They didn't initially come out with a wave system. That wasn't initially their thing. Pokemon, do they have waves?
Yes, they have waves. I had to take.
They have a never-ending ocean. It's on a wave. God, I love the Banana Man. That was the best part.
Star Wars
after
Unlimited.
You thought he roasted me. He roasted your.
He wrecked all of us. He wrecked all. He was Mike Waddell.
He
wrecked all of us.
So because Star Wars Unlimited came out, their box prices, there was no more left. Mm-hmm. Absolutely spiked. Then they decided, hey, we need to shift this to wave printing. That's probably a good idea, right?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Yeah. We'll get into Star Wars there in a minute, but I think I like the idea that sorcery is coming out in waves. It'll keep product available at stores for a longer period of time.
We agree.
But I would say my suggestion to people would be to order what you can afford and don't try to speculate on things going to the moon like beta has.
This will fund your children's college if you buy the right number of boxes.
Imagine if the game's around in 10 years.
I really think I think people need to I did a video about this. Second sets, and George, your stance on fourth sets for Lorcana, that you gotta really remember
please Bob Iger,
that it's not going to be the same thing as the first set. Like it's not going to be the same. The first set is it's a toss in the it's a random thing. The creators of the games don't know how much to produce. They have no clue what their organic demand is going to be. And so like for set 2, if you're buying and ordering expecting to be able to flip your boxes really easily, that is not going to work out well. It's going to make you feel bad about the game. And I've been there. I have lived this life and felt this way.
Don't listen to Louis. This time it's different.
So anyway, that's my thoughts. I can't wait. I am so excited. I'm going to open 100 boxes on stream.
There we go. And Circle gets a square.
I'm doing, my goal is release week.
We could do a live stream. We could live stream.
That's what I want to do. I want to get you guys.
George, will you do it?
Absolutely.
I think we should do it in person.
When is it released?
Nobody knows. November-ish. I think we should October or November. I think we should do it in person and then end the stream at the release party.
Wait, where's the release party?
At my shop. We're gonna do a release party at my shop. So we could be streaming.
We're all traveling to West Virginia.
So hold on. Yeah, we're gonna do it together, but we have to go to middle of nowhere, West Virginia.
Let me paint the scene for you. You guys travel all the way to West Virginia. We stay up for 24 hours cracking packs, and that leads into the party with everybody there, where we're hanging out with everybody playing sorcery after no sleep for 24 hours.
Provided we dodge all of the disease of the wilderness and the mountain people coming to kill us, that sounds like a decent idea. But
no,
can I push back?
Yes, push back. I'm all for feedback.
Can we do it somewhere with people?
No, like we're gonna do it at my store because we're gonna have a bunch of people at my store. We're gonna have a party.
What do you think will be at your store?
We had 45 people show up to the qualifier. We can
but this isn't a qualifier. This is a release party, and they came from around the country, as you talked about.
Yeah, they will come from around the country. I think that we would get 45 to 50 people out, dude. I'm not worried about that.
All right, let me think.
Now, hold on. Are you saying we'd only get 45 to 50 people if me and George came?
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe
100%.
What do you get without me and George? What are we worth?
Like I got 45 to 50 without you guys last time.
That's because you had a qualifier. They got to go to Baltimore for one.
That's not the question.
You made that sound like it was bad.
It's always bad to go to Baltimore. Always.
For this question, what are we worth?
There's nothing good has ever happened in Baltimore.
What's the head count? Yeah, what's the head count? What are we worth?
Well, we can't fit more than 50 people in the shop. So that's it.
Will Lauren be there?
Sure. I'll make her go. I'll be like, hey, you're my friend. You have to go.
Lauren's a goat.
You're a great friend.
Will Moore be there?
Yes. Moore is my employee. He will certainly be there.
2 goats are going to be there. That might be worth it.
It'll be fun. And we would be exhausted. And it would be great content. It was great content. That was the best.
Last time we got banned right afterwards, so it might be like the same thing. We might hit a precursor.
And then
imagine your sales if you get banned. You become an icon.
I hope we get banned again.
You become
that was so good.
No, I don't. I can't handle that. I can't afford the therapy again. Listen, I sold all my stuff from the Last Man game. Most of that money went straight to a therapist. Like it went right there.
You made a profit then burned through mental health.
That stuff's expensive.
God, I'm so profitable, but my mental health is terrible.
Welcome to every CEO ever.
Yeah, here's the problem: is Simon's too smart and rational of a business leader to ban you. We got to get someone else at the helm of sorcery to ban you.
Cynthia.
Oh my gosh! What if Cynthia takes over in sorcery?
Cynthia shows up.
Banned for
sorcery.
Sure.
Sorcery has 12 sets a year. It
goes from 1 to 12. In 1 year.
Nothing but AI art. Nothing but AI art.
Nothing but foils. Every pack is 15 foil cards.
Sure, just a mod
And one non-foil. And one non-foil. The non-foil's worth a fortune.
Oh my gosh. That's so good. Anyway, Arthurian Legends, don't worry about pre-orders. It's going to happen. You're going to see a bunch of stores have pre-orders. You're going to see your favorite content creator. I've got something in the lines. I assume if you're listening to this, I'm one of your favorite content creators. I'm
definitely assuming I am, and you're just Louis. You're just through Louis.
I have got something in the works to have some cool promos for my pre-orders. So I'm pretty excited about that. Not sorcery promos. These are these are kitchen table TCG created promos. Everybody, they're going to be bangers.
You're doing your own promos.
How much toplessness is in your photos?
No boobs. Nothing.
Oh.
Yeah,
well, I don't know how you.
These are promos with class. These are.
Can we work out a deal for Rudy to grade your promos?
Do small c, small l, big A, big S, big S promos, you're dead to me.
It's butts. It's not boobs. It's butts.
I knew it. You don't do class promos, you're dead to me.
Oh man, we should do a special Day the Zuby with you bundle that has you guys as avatars.
That's going to be a popular product.
I thought you were going to go in a more banana-y direction with that.
No. All right. Let's move on because we the banana guy, that was longer than expected.
Always is.
Star Wars Christmas. We're at an hour and a half already. We got to keep going. Star Wars Christmas.
There's nothing else to talk about, is there?
For Star Wars? We haven't talked about this one.
Yeah, but the banana stole the show, man.
I know, I get it, but when we have to talk about the other topics,
you gotta know when to call it quits.
The Banana Man said he liked it when we talk about other topics. We have to keep the Banana Man
Don't
happy.
Disappoint the banana, Josh. You gotta stroke it gently.
He'll tank my products again if we do.
Gotta be gentle with the banana, Josh. Don't go Russian.
Star Wars Set 2. There's a bunch of new info. We're not gonna get into spoilers other than George, the Mandalorian is in Set 2.
God, Bob Iger is
so
so
great
goat.
series. The Mandalorian.
Bob Iger is so goat.
Wait, did you not like The Mandalorian either?
I loved it.
I'm not a big fan of The Mandalorian.
What?
I don't like. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I am not a fan of this whole new thing where everything is a series. Like, I miss when movies were special and it wasn't like, oh, we're just gonna make it a short series and whatever. Like, I miss that.
So what about Solo?
Solo was not. I don't remember it. It was not memorable to me. I
think you just don't like Star Wars.
All the new Star Wars movies I think have been pretty poo-poo, other than Rogue One. Rogue One, very good.
You don't like Grogu?
Like what?
The little mini Yoda.
No. I felt like it was super forced. I know. I almost started watching Ash that one yesterday, and then instead I started watching Fallout. Which I think was a better. Fallout is very good. It's very.
I just started it. I got Game Pass for another 11 days and downloaded Fallout 4, and I'm not going to make it through that game. I don't have the patience.
Not the video game, the series that's out now, sir. I'm
doing both.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Very fun, very good.
I don't get a divvy off of Fallout. You both are dead to me.
Anyway, the big news for Star Wars though is they came out and basically were like, we're not printing more boxes until December.
So can I ask you a question, Louis?
Yes.
What about
you've been practicing this?
I have
all day.
What about games that don't produce boxes do you like so much? Like, I know that's like that's your favorite love letter. Like, that's your love language. Games that don't produce boxes. What about that speaks to you?
Buddy, we're in the first chapter window here. What are you doing? Lorcana did this exact same thing.
No, we apologized, said it was a mistake, and then printed the living daylights out of it.
It's a $300 booster box right now.
It's not my fault. We have unprecedented demand. Not my fault.
It's not our fault that Star Wars has unprecedented demand.
Ain't no way it has the same demand as the first chapter. Ain't no chance. You ain't got that. Ain't no chance. Ain't close. Close.
So I want to be very clear. I think this is going south quickly, but
what was first chapter, and then they fixed it.
I think right now Star Wars has a lot. I don't want to say it. You're just gonna say the people playing on the internet count, but I don't think they do.
I have no idea what you're saying. I have no idea what you're saying.
Star Wars has a lot of growth at the LGS level.
Oh my god!
It does.
Star Wars is doing great.
Yeah, like I'm thinking like I think they're at Lorcana level, like storage support. They are.
Never mind.
Listen, I'm in a lot of like, it's growing.
I want to be on your team, buddy.
Josh desperately wanted to agree with you, but no insane person could, let alone a sane person could.
Not box sales, not that. I'm talking about events being like run.
So Lorcana just had to add 2,000 seats.
Right, for the giant organized play thing. Yeah, that's true.
I don't think
I'm not saying they're at the same level. I'm saying the growth level is better. That Star Wars is growing at a more rapid pace right now.
I agree with you. Games that have been out for 5 minutes tend to grow faster.
Yeah, it's that first set thing we're talking about, but I still don't even know if that's
like Lorcana gameplay and store dynamics seem to be weaning off a little bit, in my opinion. Yeah, they are. Which is natural.
Not according to the interview. Not according to the interview we're talking about next.
That's what happened. My point though is that like Star Wars is in a weird spot right now where they are really, really growing on the player base, but all of a sudden collectors are starting to pop up, and it's gonna be interesting to see how that dichotomy works out.
To pop up.
Well, why are we doing this? Every other game we're okay comparing in its own window, especially sorcery. We put the games that we love in these little bubbles and we don't protect them, but then we compare these others against each other. You shouldn't. I don't think Star Wars.
How are you possibly saying that we don't compare sorcery to other games? What?
Because you scream at us every time. No, because every time we do, you scream. You literally pound the table.
I know you're.
I want to be clear here. You're both right.
Every time we do, you pound the table. So I'm trying to figure out what we're allowed to do on this podcast.
In what La La Land universe do you live in?
So I love that you're both right, because Louis, you do whine every time we compare it to something else.
Yeah, I was about to say, because I can pull up source. Now that we only have one platform for sorcery sales, we can pull them up and talk about them.
Certainly, Star Wars and Lorcana are on the same like competitive. They're both IPs. They're both large IPs. They're both new games from companies that are larger than an indie TCG company.
But Lorcana's competing with the big three.
I'm saying from a level of like gameplay. No? You guys really disagree that much?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Heavily.
Comment section, let us know what you think. I think they are competing for the same players.
Wait.
Wait.
Those are two different statements entirely.
No, they're not. How are they two different statements?
Louis, that you have done that so much the last 3 weeks, and I want you to know is my favorite thing you do.
It's
the favorite thing you do by a mile.
It really gets me when it happens.
Hold on, just because my statement was different than the statement you assumed I was going to make.
I want you to know that's why it's my favorite thing you do, because I can see it kill Josh, and it makes me really happy and him really angry.
It's a statement you made. It's a statement you thought you were making.
You're like, this is bigger. You don't think they're competing for the same players?
I didn't say it was bigger. I never said that. I said it was growing at a more rapid level right now. That is what I said.
And then you ended with competing for the same players. Like Sorcerer's competing with Magic because they're competing for the same players.
Yeah, sure. They're competing in that regard. They're competing with the same players.
I'm broken. I'm broken. I'm a broken.
You've done it a lot the last 3 weeks, and it's my favorite thing you've done because it kills Josh every time. You can see Josh want to die.
I want to get it. I don't get it.
That time I just took the L. Took the L to make the meme.
Like they're competing with the same players, but Louis, it's like the Red Sox versus the Little League team. Like Lorcana's Lorcana's doing really good, right? Like Lorcana's cranking some boxes. There's data.
I didn't say anything.
Your little dumbass grin. You don't have to. Like,
I agree that Lorcana's
the dumbass grin. I think it's very pretty grin.
Both of these games are on fire, like absolutely on fire.
Yes, in their own. They're both exceeding expectations.
When Star Wars gets on the main page of TCG Player, it's time to pay attention to it.
That is the only thing that matters in this world. Main page TCG.
That's the way the banana stand views it, and that's the way I view it too.
I can't wait till the banana stand is one of these three, things on the top of the thing. That's going to be so good.
It's Magic, it's Pokemon, and it's deals from the banana stand. Shop the banana stand.
I hope that you start selling produce.
All right. So
here's an apple, punk.
what do you guys think about
fruit with your order?
What do you guys think about no more boxes till Christmas? Is this the right move? Their whole thing was they wanted to print, they wanted to print more of set 2.
This I don't think this is a strategic move. Is it? This is a oops, just like first chapter. Oops.
It took us way less than 8 months to get boxes out.
Screwed this up. Need to print more boxes.
It took us 3 months to fix it. Not
importantly, it is.
You released in August. Your first major reprint came in December.
Importantly, it is a strategic move.
I'm sorry, Jack. I apologize. 4 months.
They are choosing. They are
4
choosing.
months.
They are
at
choosing.
Most.
They are choosing to increase the print run of set 2 rather than get more boxes of set 1 out earlier. That's what the CEO.
I love that Fantasy Flight is going to Fantasy Flight this. It makes me so happy that they're pumping out boxes for set 2.
They have sold more boxes of Star Wars Unlimited than all of Destiny's life cycle.
Yeah. I want to see them do a Ravensburger and figure it out and get it right. Ravensburger dropped the ball.
Hold on. They already wrapped their boxes in cellophane. They already did that.
That's true. Louis, this is a good point. This is a point, Louis. They figured out how the TCG industry works and they wrapped their boxes. So
you know what I hate? The worst part about Star Wars though? The freaking paper packs. It drives me nuts. It leaves all this dust all over the.
So the glitter.
You love dust. I'm so
glitter
right now.
It's glitter. It feels like glitter. It's everywhere.
It goes everywhere. It's so annoying.
It's like you had a pole dancer in your office. It's crazy.
I don't know what that's like. So yeah.
I just rubbing the banana.
Josh was like. The other day, I had a pole dancer in the office. I couldn't tell the difference if I opened Star Wars packs or what.
I work at a cool company. I don't know what you guys want from me. TCG is fun.
I think it's the right move to put more set 2 out. I think the market's
this is so perfect. This is so perfect.
They needed to print more of box where they underestimated their demand, just like Ravensburger.
Absolutely. I'm sure they're going to nail this print run.
Here's
that's what Asmodee and Fantasy Flight is known for.
All right, I gotta make a joke and then I'm gonna make a hot take. I think it's the market's gonna go a little bananas. That's the joke. Hot take. They did not come out and say that they were going to reprint set 1 in the same way. I think they're going to do like a different type of box type thing for set 1.
So no showcase. Are you on the no showcase?
No, I'm not going to go that way. I think that I want to be very clear. This is not the right move. They should just reprint the box. In my opinion, they should do exactly what Lorcana's doing.
They shouldn't make it unlimited.
They should just reprint the box.
Wait, they could do a revised.
But in my opinion, the way that he spoke, he was like, we have the wording, the phrasing he used was something along the lines of like, we have a plan in mind to print the first box again with a something. Like he didn't come out and say we're reprinting the box. So I think they're going to do like an unlimited, which is a huge mistake. That is such a big mistake.
I am so here for it. I am so here for it.
That is going to be if they do something like no hyperspace.
Did you just take the side of unlimited is a massive mistake?
I think printing a different box for a game like this is bad.
I love this. I'm so happy right now.
You're comparing this to beta. That's what you're comparing it, right? Beta
was last week you were ranting and raving about how unlimited it'd be fine for sorcery.
Right. I think in 2 years, unlimited will be fine for sorcery. And I said, if you would listen to the things I said,
we weren't talking about 2 years. We were talking about the next reprint for beta, not 2 years from now.
No, we weren't. You guys weren't listening. You weren't listening when we were talking.
Hold on. The rest of the podcast was talking about the reprint that was the topic. If you were talking about 2 years in the future, you were doing it on your own.
Oh my gosh. When he talked in the interview, he said, we're going to do something. We might do an unlimited or something like that in the next year to 2 years.
He did not say the next year or 2 years.
He said it's not time yet for that.
Yeah, that's very different than what you just said. He said
if the timeline comes there, we will cross that bridge when we come. That's what we were talking about.
Either way, none of these games should do the unlimited. Your take on no unlimited for Star Wars is the best for the game.
The difference between Star Wars Set 1 and Sorcery Beta is that Sorcery Beta was labeled and produced and advertised as a limited print set. It was limited beta. That's what it was. It was not produced as a mass-produced set and advertised as.
Is that true? Because they were very clear that. Hold on, they were very clear that there could be more print runs the entire time.
They were very clear that they had boxes in storage. That's what they were very clear about.
They also said they could reprint it. They were very clear about that.
That is not the way that the rest of the consumers view the way the things that they said.
That doesn't matter. Like I don't care what they view it as.
One
What they
take on the podcast with zero information means nothing. Like with zero evidence to that means nothing. That is not what they said.
You're right. If they made a statement saying beta was going to be limited printed, that's you understand. Yeah. For as far as Star Wars, to keep us on track, Star Wars going unlimited would be a massive mistake. They should just reprint this box.
Yes.
Your take on that, totally correct.
Yeah, and if I was a game company, I would just do away with alpha, first edition, beta,
100%.
whatever. Like I
just
think
print the box.
Print the box.
Yeah,
that's what I am. Team that.
Nailed it.
Sorcery Alpha and Beta was announced 2 years ago. I would have been wrong 2 years ago when I came out and said that. I think these large games like Star Wars should just have one box. Lorcana should just have one box. That's the way things should be if you want to be a top contender. So, but that being said, my spicy take is that that's not what they're going to do. So
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
That is wild speculation, everybody. Full disclosure, wild speculation based on the way he phrased things. But
that's what they did in My Hero Academia as Day 2.
Yeah, they had the unlimited.
Mm-hmm. Worked out really well.
Oh, speaking of Asmodee, another thing I wanted to talk about briefly on the podcast. For what's that game, Altered? Did you guys see the screenshots I sent you?
No.
They're doing a tour. They're going around to LGSs that you can apply for as an LGS, where they're bringing people to the store to teach you in the store how to play Altered. Isn't that kind of cool?
What are they driving?
I'm in.
They're doing the cryptic van thing.
I'm in.
That's hope they don't spend their entire budget on the Altered van thing. All right. Let's finish this up. Last topic.
No. Second to last topic.
Rav CEO article. George, lead the way, buddy.
All right. So the CEO of Ravensburger did a little interview with ICV2.
Our favorite sponsor of the podcast until a couple weeks from now.
So there were a few things that came out. First, I said about 70% of the stores that get boxes are using their Play Network.
That's pretty good.
That's really high. That
70% penetration rate.
That's a lot of banana. Like that's a pretty high number.
Why did they phrase it like that?
Well, they were waiting for the podcast. He gets it. So the other big thing that surprised me was that they're clearly still viewing this as a hobby store centric game. There was a lot of discussion about how do you view your sales mix going forward, and hobby clearly dominates, which has always been our hope and intention. Sounds like hobby is getting the vast majority of the boxes, and it just doesn't feel that way sometimes because they're producing so many boxes that, let's say Shop Disney gets 10% of the boxes. It's a lot of boxes.
Right.
But hobby seems to be getting the vast majority. The most interesting thing I thought, let me pull it up here. So they talked about the aftermarket surge in prices, and he did not seem as concerned about that as I thought he would. He basically said that where it stands right now, cards are relatively inexpensive for players.
Yep.
And he's like, I want people to play the game. And so what I think that tells me is I think they're focusing a lot on the cheapest version of Elsa, not the enchanted version of Elsa, for when to reprint. He did not say that, but that was the way I interpreted it.
It seems to be what's important to them.
Yeah, and I think that's really interesting. I mean, I left this wondering if they're going to actually do another massive reprint of the first chapter as quickly as I thought they were going to.
So importantly, they just did a rather decently large restock that went to primarily stores who are running championship events. Yeah. This was one of the rare occasions, everybody. Shout out to me on the podcast where I'm getting more boxes than George, and that's because I'm running a championship that you can come to on April 27th at noon at Game Grove if you want to do the Inklands Championship. We're doing it as a win a box event too.
So
you know what? I'm going to do that right now. We're going to make that a win a box of first chapter.
Okay. So he talked about the what we just talked about, how hard it was to reprint the first chapter the first time. He basically said, like, listen, like, we were caught wildly off guard with the success of the game, and it basically took all hands on deck to get the first chapter back up and running. Like, that was pretty fascinating. Our North Star is and always will be Lorcana fans and making sure Disney Lorcana TCG is the best game it can be. All reprinting decisions will continue to be made with that in mind, and as of right now, we're at a good equilibrium.
Kind of sounds like they're not going to reprint a whole lot of first chapter.
So the way I interpret that is they're not in a hurry to do so.
Yeah. They were
that caught
very
me off guard. I expected him to be like, hey, listen, $300 boxes make me sad. I want to be happy. $144 boxes make me happy. So we're going to reprint them to $144.
Yeah.
That was not the vibe I got.
Yeah. I mean, also, though, when you're doing 4 boxes a year and you start seeing Floodborns is creeping up in value, you start seeing Inklands is getting, the rotation, you start thinking we're going to have to reprint. If we set the standard that our box is going to be $144, you're going to have to reprint a lot more than maybe they intended or want to do. And so you may have to change your attitude a little bit on that to say, okay, maybe it's okay if boxes have extreme value in our business model and that kind of stuff. Because it would be a really weird world if like Floodborn was a more expensive box than first chapter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because due to the amount that it's reprinting, it'd be a weird dynamic. So it's a weird world where we are seemingly all in agreement on a game, and it seems like maybe Lorcana is doing just kind of everything right.
Of course they are. They're GOAT. And the last thing is they said that they're going to keep adding different products for these kind of weird things, like the co-op box is going to be a thing.
I love their statement there. What does he say about it? Work together. First, it's set to be the first of its kind in the world of TCGs. It's a pretty bold statement.
He gets it. He's GOAT.
Was there a Magic? What was the Magic co-op that never took off? Was it Arch Enemy? Is that what it was?
That's not really co-op. No, actually, it's this.
This is one where everyone played against. What's the one where everyone played against the? Someone played as the Planeswalker.
Yeah,
and then everyone else fought them. Someone was like Nico Bolas.
They did these too. This is like this is not Arch Enemy. This is Defeat a God. Where like you play against. I've always wanted to do this on the channel, but I never have time.
You should have brought on a MagicCon. That would have been fun.
Yeah, I should have. That would have been nice.
It stuck out to me to see them so into like the main focus of this announcement being their print run numbers. You can tell that since the first chapter and the crazy spike, we talked about the best place for Lorcana is to be an accessible game. They are tuned into those print run numbers. They want the box ready, and they realized their mistake, which I always give them credit for. They fixed that, and they got the boxes out there, and they're doing a good job. It's cool to see them not just setting that and forgetting it, saying, hey, we're still tuned into this. We want to make sure this succeeds. But for the first chapter, Lorcana benefits in a way that a lot of other TCGs we covered don't. This is something Sorcery benefits from, too. You're not focused on OP, right? Like your hardcore organized play, your maybe not OP, but competitive play, your high-end competitive events. If you don't focus on that, like some of the competitive cards are more expensive. So what? You just play without them. You take the commander angle, right? You build decks of lower power. You play with friends with different characters. Lorcana benefits from that in a massive way. And so I think they're kind of safe to do something like this.
I think that's true. I also think they've learned from other games' mistakes, like having one valuable card in a case and have that be a good card that you need to be played is stupid. Yeah. And so like having a expensive Elsa and cheap Elsa is really good and smart. Only having good cards be expensive is stupid and bad for card games growth.
Right. But that only works if the game is adopted and people like it. If you take the model of you have an expensive Elsa and you have a playable Elsa and nobody plays the game and nobody likes it, well, both cards are worthless. Now you have a worthless box, right? So it only works because Lorcana is successful. We see other games try to mimic that. And it's like, hey, you have a rare chase version of something and a normal version, but your community just wants neither.
Well, another thing they've done really well is they've leaned really, really into, George, you were saying this earlier, like just the local store. They're not relying on any like content creators. They're not relying on anything. They are just doing this at the store level, and they are heading that from this is what I was trying to say about Cynthia Williams. Like, if you look at this article, I know she's not the CEO and this guy is, but there's a clear vision that he is painting for what he wants Lorcana to be in the hands of the consumer. That's what, like, we didn't see with Magic. That's what we don't see with Magic, in my opinion, is a clear vision of what they want the game to be. And maybe it's just that Magic is 30 years old and that's a lot harder to do than a new game.
It's really hard to move a 30-year ship.
Yeah, well, that's why you hired the Microsoft lady to do it. That's why you have a good person in the role, and that was the point.
Like, you got to have Chris Fox to do that.
She was probably going to, and then left. Like, you can't do it in 2 years. And when she says, "Oh, I don't like the direction of the ship, I'm out," she jumped ship, dude.
Jump ship.
Speculation, of course. It's going to come out tomorrow. Now that I've said that she got fired.
Yeah. All right, we're all in agreement on something. Let's move on.
Okay. Let me add. All right, my turn.
Bid farewell.
All right. Well, I got hard news for the podcast family. By the time this airs, my sweet, amazing, beautiful, incredible dog Ruby will no longer be with us.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah, she has been a loyal viewer of the podcast
From your feet.
And giving me sweet kisses all throughout the episodes since we started. I've had her for 11 and a half years. She's right next to me. She is the best dog anybody could have, and I will miss her dearly. So we usually end with something fun and funny, and that will not be tonight, unfortunately, for me. So if you do see this, give your dog an extra treat for Ruby and give him an extra squeeze. And, I do appreciate the friendship on the podcast. It's been a hard couple months for me, to be candid. This week's been particularly brutal with poor Rubers having to say goodbye. So I appreciate the friendship on the podcast. Appreciate all the viewers and all the love, and mainly appreciate your bananas.
Well, if everybody could leave a comment celebrating their dog in the comment section with a little heart.
No cats. Sorry, Tay-Tay. Sorry, Tay-Tay. No cats.
A little heart and love for George to help him have some joy on Friday. That would be awesome. Can Ruby give us one more little grunt for the podcast? A little classic Ruby snore.
You saw it. There it is.
There it is.
There it was.
The Ruby snore.
There it was.
I'd lift her up, but she's kind of bloated, so it hurts her to lift her up now. I took her to the beach today. She loves the puddles, and today was, God love this dog. When she gets up to doggy heaven, God will be like, you were a good dog. You did not have a hard life. You were hand-fed salmon kibble. You were hand-fed freeze-dried salmon every day by an owner who would spare no expense and spend every minute with you that he possibly could. You did good. You were a good dog. Didn't have a hard life. So we took her to the beach. I took her to the beach today, and I put her in a little puddle because she likes to swim, and she did her last little swim. And tomorrow she'll be swimming up in heaven.
No, I'm sorry, man. That's really hard.
Yeah.
We're here for you.
We love you, puppy.
All right.
Bye, Rubers. We love you.
Bye, Rubers.
Hi, Rubers.
Thanks for being on the podcast all these years.
My favorite guest.
All right, this is getting a little sad for me, so I'm gonna wrap it up. But we love you all. Thank you for watching and listening. Thanks to the banana. May the banana be with you.
And also in you.
And also with you. So much with you.
And also in you.
Wait. Let's go back. Let's pump Josh's channel. Josh, go to Hometown TCG. Subscribe.
We gotta end. No, just end on the banana thing.
No.
Go to scruffygaming.org. Subscribe to Donald.
May the banana be in you, and have a great day.